What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him as JC.
Hey, everybody.
And we also got the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, what's going on? I'm excited. I'm happy because my Red Sox won and defeated the Yankees. Go Red Sox!
Yeah,
Hey.
congratulations. And think of it this way, Yankees fans, at least Jose Altuve won't beat you in a walk-off home run of the ninth this year,
Ooh,
postseason.
Yeah. So
ooh.
now
Shots fired.
now
Shots
the Red
fired.
Sox get to face the
Look, I
Tampa
have to
Bay
say
Devil
that because for whatever reason, Jose Altuve is trending even after this game because we're just waiting for all the crap the Yankees fans talked about Altuve this year. So, but
No.
yeah, that's a topic for another time. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the topic that we are all here for is to review Sony and Marvel's Venom 2, aka Let There Be Carnage, featuring Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and Woody Harrelson, who
hmm
we're going to talk about a little bit on this episode. If you haven't seen the movie, potential spoilers are going to happen, but
hmm
we'll talk about that. We'll give our first an overview of what we thought about the movie, and then we'll get into some spoiler territory. We'll give you another warning, and at the end of this episode, I might drop some rapid fire headlines, just so you folks out there can keep up with what's going on in the geek universe.
yeah,
First, let's get into it. JC, I'm gonna start with
yeah.
you, man. Let's get your general overview of Venom. Let there be carnage.
Um, I like the runtime. First of all, I thought that was great. Just they didn't spend a whole lot of time getting up to the battle itself. I mean, I think that was a perfect runtime itself. I think obviously they're building up to the fight. I was glad that it wasn't a okay. They're going to meet here and then they're going to go away and then come back and fight. Like it was all one big battle that led up to at the end. So I thought Carnage looked amazing. Um, I thought the effects of him when the violence was great. Woody Harrelson really brought it. I thought that was pretty cool. They really captured how sick and sadistic Cletus Cassidy is for damn sure. So, uh, I mean, it was a fun film. We got more of the Venom and Eddie Brock voice in the head dynamic,
Yeah.
and that being said, Michelle Williams' Venom is freaking hot. Thought that was great. I wouldn't mind seeing that somewhere, but
Oh man.
yeah. Overall, I mean, it was a fun movie. I won't say it was bad. It was better than the first one. I didn't mind the first one. These movies are made to just be a little crazy, a little fun. So I that much of it I enjoyed. So
All
that's my
right.
quick overview.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Joe, let's go to you next, sir. Your general thoughts, your overview about Venom 2.
I felt that it was better than the first movie. However, I
Hey.
just felt still like when I'm looking at it as a perspective from a storyline, some of the interaction between Cassidy and Francis Barrison, aka Shriek, it just seemed awkward. The dialogue, the whole way that they try to portray it, it just didn't really work for me. Um, and there was a lot of things that went unanswered. Like Shriek is a mutant, but they never dropped the M word. Okay,
It's a bad
I get
word.
that.
It's a bad word.
They didn't drop the M word, but
That's
Yet.
right.
then you
That's
move
right.
on and then you go to, you know, the character that is what's his Stephen Graham played Detective Mulligan. And
Yeah.
then you see a scene in the movie, spoiler alert, where Shriek is defeated and she had like a blue eye. Then all of a sudden Detective Mulligan gets injured. Now he has like, I don't know, blue eyes. So did he all of a sudden awaken a mutant ability? I mean, it just that didn't even need to be in there. the 90-minute runtime was fine. That was okay. Felt a little short, a little rushed, but there was things that certain aspects of the movie, of the story, that just didn't fit really well. While it was better than part one, to me, it's still just some things just didn't work. And it's just
Mhm.
an okay movie in my opinion. While it is enjoyable, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. They had some jokes there. Everybody was laughing, but everybody was here for the post-credit scene. Now that we'll go ahead and talk about, I'm sure, later on, but that's what made going back to the movie so enjoyable, especially watching this film, was the reaction from the crowd. That's what I really missed. But other
Mhm.
than that, I mean, the movie was okay. It was enjoyable.
You do have some willpower. Not talking about the post credit scene.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
figured that we're all
appreciate
going to
that.
go ahead and share that, but I mean, we're going to talk
Later,
about the
later, yeah.
actual movie itself. Yeah.
Absolutely. My general thoughts, and I'm actually the guy that you're getting sort of an instant reaction from because I just got out of the movies from the showing. So Venom 2 is it's a wild ride, man. It's a lot of it's not a lot of fun. It is a fun movie. It doesn't take itself very seriously. It doesn't take any time at all. If we're all going to be honest about it, and I feel like that's actually a flaw of this film is how I don't know what the word is, how not serious it takes itself. Woody Harrelson is a great villain.
Mhm.
I'm glad to see him in more villain roles because he's actually done something not exactly like this, but in the Planet of the Apes trilogy, he played sort of an army evil villain figure. So
It's just like a ruthless general. Yeah, that was what he was. Yeah.
absolutely, definitely the
Yeah.
antagonist of
Mhm.
that movie. So he honestly is kind of meant for these type of roles. He falls right into it, and he's damn awesome to watch. He's just entertaining as hell. Tom Hardy's Tom Hardy. He does what he's asked to do, but I still want to see more. I still want to see him do more. And Venom is such a character, man. I'm still getting Little Shop of Horror vibes. It's still Audrey 2, the symbiote. And that's not a bad thing. I think that's a great sort of callback to sort of imitate that sort of characterization in a comic book film or just any movie in general. I think if you're aiming for that and you're hitting it, and that's a good thing. I still think it's too short. I still think we're just running too fast. We're not enjoying taking the time to enjoy a lot of what's going on in this movie. And lastly, before we get into our spoiler review, I'm gonna say Michelle Williams is like not asked to do anything really in this movie, but she's great. Like
Mhm.
she's acting her ass off, and yet she's not doing much of anything. And I'm like, can we give like the best actor in this movie something to do? Because unfortunately, she kind of for most of the movie she's not in it, and then the last part of it, she's barely in it. But yeah, we need more Michelle Williams going on in the Venom universe. And now, time for our spoiler review, which I joked about this before we started. Isn't going to take a whole lot of time at all because there aren't many plots to this movie. It's really just one big plot that sort of gets set up and then gets resolved. And it's I want more. I want more. I want more in this franchise. I want them to take some risks. I want them to do more. Um, yeah, it's too short, too fast of a movie. Tom Hardy actually has a writing credit for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm probably gonna guess though that somewhere at Sony, somebody said, "We need to just bring this down below 100 minutes." And Andy Serkis, who's a director, who is a great director in my opinion, he probably begrudgingly said, "Okay," and came up with this 90-minute runtime that 95-ish, 7-ish. I can't remember what the exact runtime was, but
Oh.
it's really fast. It's too fast that we don't really get to enjoy a whole lot, and I really want there to be more substance and more subplots or more going on in a film that features Tom Hardy versus Woody Harrelson. That's just my opinion.
97 minutes.
There you go.
And I could see you maybe wanting more, but I think a lot of like there were points where it did get real slow. I think early on, like when there were the conversations between Venom and Eddie Brock, and the whole point where Venom just leaves and is just bonding with random people and them dying, but because of it and everything. Uh, I think if it had gone on for that much longer, that might have got a little bit boring. So, but the point of this was really they're not sugarcoated. It's in the title. Let there be carnage. Everyone wants to see Venom versus Carnage. That's the whole point of this film. And to get to that, they don't sugarcoat it. They go to it. I think they did a decent job resolving the Venom and Eddie Brock conflict. Apologize, this and that, that whole discussion as well. But
You make me
maybe,
special. I was a
yeah.
loser before you.
Yeah, that whole scene just didn't work for me. Like
Yeah.
what are they doing? It's like some sort of LGBTQIA festival, and they have
You
him
complete
there.
me.
I mean, I get the
You're
inclusion of
reaching
wanting
now,
to.
Joe. I don't know, man.
No, I'm just saying I get it. They're trying to have this inclusion. Include everybody and all that kind of
What?
stuff. It's
No, they're
just
not. What are you talking about?
look, man. This is what I'm
Don't
trying to say. Look,
skip past that part.
look. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, look, I'm coming out. Because I split up from Eddie Brock. And he's come up there on the stage and he's doing his whole thing, and everybody's complimenting him on his costume. They're like, wow, that's a
Mhm.
great costume. And he's like, I made it myself. So I thought that was that's funny.
That
And
was
everybody's just
funny.
there listening to what he has to say, and he's going on about his speech, and he's like, I'm coming out, I'm free from Eddie. And everybody's like, all right, cool, this is great, I like this. And he's wearing these little neon bracelets and whatnot. And then he just
Is
goes
that a rave?
casually off the stage, and the host that he's in just freaking dies. It's like, okay, time to find a new body.
It's kind of
And
humorous when you think about it.
the
Yeah, he's
whole
just
scene,
finding people kill. Find people kill.
yeah, there
Yeah.
was a couple people that died, but that whole thing is just like, it was all right, but yeah,
Mhm.
I was just like, I watched and I was just like, well, this is something that really didn't need to be in the movie, so to
Mhm.
speak. They could have just deleted scene, in other words, you
He
know.
had he had he had to have a moment where he's lying to himself about he can be without Eddie, and yet we already know from the first one, like they're the
Mhm.
only perfect match where they can thrive, and he's not going to kill the host, and he sort of knows that with Eddie he can reach sort of a higher potential. We can be
Yeah.
great, we could do more,
Well, what
and he
what they're
can't
trying to
do that
do
with
is,
anybody else because he's not a
yeah, well, what
match.
they're trying to
He's
do
not
is they're trying to include his perspective. They're trying to
sure.
include him as far as how he's feeling. We see him and Eddie together all the time, and it's like
He's a
Venom doesn't really
character.
he gets to be himself in little, pieces that we see when they're fighting or they're having a good time or they're arguing. But we
Yeah.
never get to see what is Venom like. He has his own little personality and he wants to do things too. And when he separates from Eddie, that's where we see him coming out as being Venom, his own character, his own persona. And it's
Absolutely.
different when he's with Eddie. And that just saying that whole bit was just like, I get it. I see what they're trying to do with it. This is who he is without Eddie. And to me,
Yeah.
that was still funny because he's like, we're doing it. We're having fun. And that to me, that was humorous. Like you could tell that he had his feelings hurt, because of what Eddie told him. Kind of like that scene when the Hulk and Thor were fighting. Nobody likes you, and he just sits there and tells him. That's kind of what it reminded me of with Venom, doing all this. It was funny.
You, do you guys have like a favorite funny moment? Because this is a comedy. Let's be honest. This
Yeah.
is a comedy. So
Yeah.
do y'all have like a favorite funny moment, JC?
This is the one I didn't expect it. Just random. The one time you hear the F bomb in the whole movie. Fuck this guy, and then just
Yeah.
bites his head off. That was so great. you know,
All right,
so
all right, all
yeah,
right. Joe, what about you, man?
No, I mean, I just thought it was, it was kind of funny. Yeah, he does do the F bomb. And to me, the funny part was Eddie trying to make Venom eat chickens. You know,
yeah,
he's like, they have little brains because he says he needs brains. And the only chickens
yeah.
that he won't eat are the ones that he's taken
Sonny
as
and Cher,
his
Sonny
friends.
and
Sonny and
Cher,
Cher.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah,
they live in the apartment with him. And he's like, those are my friends. And he's like, oh my,
yeah,
are you kidding me? Like eat the chickens. No, those are my friends. I'm just like, oh
yeah,
my God. And the chickens are just roaming free in the apartment.
yeah.
They just do whatever the hell they want. And they try to set them free, at the college campus or whatever. And they're still in the same damn place. I mean, like time has gone by and then they come back to that same area and the chickens are still there unharmed, like how are they even living at this point? Who's feeding them? So to me that
There's,
was fun.
there's a couple of moments for me early on when he first visits Cletus to interview him. Venom is this Jiminy Cricket conscience talking to him that only he can hear. Pretty sure only he can hear. They kind of very
Yeah.
made that obvious later on, but
Mhm.
only he can hear him, and so Tom Hardy walks up to like the booth or something that this woman is in. He's like, "You suck,"
Oh yeah.
and she's like,
He was
"Excuse me," and he
wasn't it
goes,
when they were interrogating him or something? Or
Something
he
like
was
that.
trying
Yeah.
to talk to somebody or something like that. That's when he goes, "You suck," and he's like, "Oh, well, I didn't really mean to say that."
Mhm.
"No, it was in the very beginning. He was going into and he sees a woman in the booth, and then Venom says, 'You suck,' and then the heck's his name, Eddie. Eddie says, 'No, you suck,' and then the woman's right in front of him. He's like, 'Excuse
It's
me.'"
when he's checking in to go visit Cletus at the prison.
Oh
That's
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then
When they're
he's
Yeah.
and
walking
then
him up, yeah.
and then Eddie says, "I got no excuse for why I said that."
He
He's
just said he
just
was nervous.
I
yeah.
love that the character is in this point in his life where he just gives up, right?
Mhm.
I can't explain what he does. He can't explain why his house is a mess, the noises he makes, like nothing is explainable, so he just gives up. Like, I'm not even gonna try anymore. And the other part that really got me was he's talking to the detective. I You mentioned his name earlier. I already forgot, but the detective and Venom wants to
Yeah, it
Mulligan.
was Detective
eat
Mulligan.
Mhm.
Mulligan. Venom wants to eat him or something, and Eddie's like, "No." And the cop's rude to Eddie because he knows Eddie knows something, and he won't divulge what it is. And so Eddie, to kind of like make Venom happy and to kind of show that he understands this cop is not completely on the good side, he actually tells the cop like, "You don't deserve nice things." And that was it's so random, but it was so funny. Me and the wife were cracking up when that happened. Damn, Tom Hardy's really good. Listen, he's
Mhm.
really good. Like I don't see a lot of people or actors in this role that can really pull this off that well. It's a lot of probably I don't know. I wonder how they do it. I wonder if it's a lot of voiceovers in post, or if he has like a track that's playing, or an earbud where he's sort of arguing
Mhm.
with this disembodied voice on some scenes. It would be really interesting to see the behind the scenes and exactly how Andy wanted to do it, because I'm sure Andy had a really clever way of doing it. So I want to find that out. Um,
How much? How much of that was ad libbed? That's another thing. How much of that was potentially ad libbed? That could be fun.
Absolutely, that would be great to find out.
Yeah, there was a
Listen,
scene too
I
that they
mentioned
had
earlier I wanted
chickens.
more. Uh, I wanted more to the story. JC mentioned we wanted to see Carnage versus Venom.
Mhm.
Well, I don't want there to be one fight. Like this is a heavyweight bout that deserves like a fight and a rematch. This is Rocky and Creed, and it shouldn't just happen once. We had to get the rematch. Well, s- spoiler alert, we're never going to see a rematch. Like it was just one fight, and it was really entertaining. Special effects above par,
Amazing.
amazing,
Amazing.
really
Yeah.
good, really good. And I mean, it ends, and we're never going to see it again. We're not going to see Cletus. We're not going to see Carnage. And that just feels like a letdown to me. Like
Mm.
we need to see a rematch eventually, but no, never gonna get that. You guys feel that way
I
at all?
I did until the end credit scene. And because that confirmed my theory on this series. Now, when they started
What?
when they started the Tom Holland Spider-Man, the goal was to get to the Sinister Six.
Okay.
They want to bring that in. And when they started Venom, all they said, this isn't MCU, but it runs parallel to it. And I'm
Right.
thinking, okay, they're going to transition this to be the Venom in the MCU to be the Sinister Six, one way or another. And they confirmed that with the end credits. And so, granted, I didn't expect them to make this jump that soon. I thought maybe we'd get one more Venom movie, and then they were going to possibly do that. So that was a nice surprise for me. But yeah, I could see maybe we want another Carnage fight, maybe one other Venom versus Carnage fight. But is there really any other fight for Venom? I mean, that's the big one. That's the two most famous symbiotes in the Marvel Comics universe, if you will. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like get to that heavyweight fight and have it last a good while. It lasted a good amount. I think they did a great job setting up how sick and demented Cletus Cassidy is.
Yes.
Now, Joe said before the show, there's some other crazy stuff he did in the comics. Yeah, but they're trying to keep a PG-13 rating, So
Yeah, they
I
can't
think that
put
was the
everything.
thing. Yeah, if you want to make a director's cut, R rating, do all the other crazy shit that happened, fine, go for it. But yeah, to keep PG-13, obviously they toned down the blood and the bloodbath that was the prison break. They only dropped the F-bomb one time, which is the rules. And yeah, it went from there. So I could see maybe wanting another fight or a rematch, but I mean, Godzilla and Kong aren't going to get a rematch, are they? So, you know,
No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're
no.
right.
Yeah.
But they fought. Listen, that movie's not a
They
good
had a
example
skirmish in the middle
because
of the
they
sea.
fought more than once. They did fight more than
Well,
once.
they had a skirmish and then it was the big fight. And then
Well, the
they,
big fight against one
yeah.
another, and then they had to team up, a la BVS style, and take out the
Mecha
Doomsday
Godzilla.
copycat.
Yeah.
Huh.
But that's not really a fight. That's like, tag team. That's standard wrestling booking. These two fight. Now they respect each other. They team up to take out a common enemy. But,
All I'm
I,
saying is they had the regular match, and then third
yeah.
guy jumped in, so it is another match. In
Mhm.
wrestling rules, that's a separate match.
But I think in this case, it's Venom and Carnage. They're only going to fight once to
I
the
guess.
death. They're not going to fight and the one run away and the other one not pursue. No,
Yeah.
that this
But
is
that's
going
doing
to
the
be the
fans a
fight.
disservice in doing stuff like that. I understand that
Mhm.
there's an end game, as we did find out in the post credit scene. But
Yeah,
still, I don't know if that means that Carnage will no longer come back. Maybe he still will in some form. Maybe not
yeah,
Carnage, but another symbiote or whatnot. Because there was other people that maybe he interacted with that we didn't
hmm
see on screen. And they could do something of that nature to kind of bring another symbiote into the fold, maybe a new character or something. But
right.
even that weird thing that I was referring to that they did with Detective Mulligan, with his eyes glowing blue and stuff. I'm just like, why? I would have rather they do that with Peggy Lou, Miss Chen. You know, she was a host for Venom for a little bit
She
there.
was funny as a host. That
Oh
was
yeah,
hilarious.
she was funny and the thing is that I liked about her so much is like she knows Eddie Brock's secret. She's
Hmm.
not scared of him. She's not scared of Venom. So what are you gonna do? I don't have your chocolate. You know, he's like, let's eat her. Don't eat
Yeah.
Miss Chen. So
Uh,
seeing her, be the host for Venom, when uh, Anne Wang, went over there to, look for Venom, which was Michelle Williams' character, and she's like looking at her, and she's like, Venom, and
yeah.
she starts talking to him and saying, "You need to help Eddie," and that to me that was funny. I would like to see Miss Chen be the symbiote. I think that would be hilarious.
Maybe for more, maybe that scene being longer or something like that could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
actually, go ahead.
no, I said I understand where everybody's coming from. They don't want to say goodbye to Carnage. They like him so
mhm.
much, and he was I think Woody Harrelson did a great job as playing Cletus Cassidy. So I understand the
Yeah.
appeal. He did a great job. portraying the character, both as Carnage and as Cletus. But I just
Woody's
wanted to see
great,
a little
man.
bit
Yeah.
more. I wanted to see a little bit more out of him. That's the thing that you get with the 90-minute runtime. You kind of want to see a little bit more, but it is what it is on that end. 90 minutes went quick. They didn't have any time to, you know, I guess diddle around. They just got straight into it right away, which was enjoyable for everybody because you didn't have these lulls, a lot of lulls, slow times, moments that got paused a lot and got boring, as we've seen with some of these other films that have a longer runtime. So I don't know, maybe it'll become a thing, JC. 90 minutes. What do you got? Get down to
Those
business
those
real
those
quick.
transition films were these kind of things, these epic battles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only difference is that Godzilla vs Kong should have been a lot longer because there's a lot that they cut out that would have made that story a lot more sense. But that's another
Absolutely.
discussion. Yeah.
That's
So
another discussion.
Maybe we'll get
this
the
one,
director's cut.
yeah. And the only thing maybe they could have explained was now they didn't say the M word mutant, but they did mention mutation. They
Mm.
did say that when it came to Shriek, which I know you weren't too keen on her being there, but they had to have some motivation for Cassidy wanting to get out of prison other than just escaping. Like there was some ultimate goal he wanted to get back to, I would think. But this is how did she awaken this in Mulligan? Did she transfer her power to him? Yeah, that's the interesting thing,
And
So
will we get that answer? It makes you wonder, is the post credit scene an afterthought? Was it like, hey, we did this movie and somewhere Marvel was like, "Oh, we need so and so in the MCU." And uh, of course, like they're going to set rules later on and all that good stuff, but why tease somebody who doesn't appear to be in any future instance because there are bigger things ahead, clearly. So it is very, very interesting. This stuff like this has happened before, man. Like post credit scenes have been changed. It's something different. Storylines have been altered in order to kind of set up new ideas for future films. So, man, it's curious, very curious on what they're actually trying to do and how much of this was all planned or just an afterthought. Um, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I was actually like really nervous when Venom picks up this like metal pipe. I'm like, oh god, don't go Spider-Man 3. Please don't go Spider-Man 3. Anything but going
They had
freaking
a little bit.
Spider-Man
They had some
3
shades of Spider-Man 3. Ted, let's be
oh, at
honest.
the bell, but I mean the bell's just standard. You
because
know,
we all remember the scene where like Spidey puts the pipes around
and makes a bunch of
uh
noise to get yeah, Eddie
yeah,
Brock out.
Venom and like yeah, to kind of whatever like freak him out and stuff like that. Topher Grace. That's the name I was looking for.
Mm.
He puts the pipes around Topher Grace and he starts banging on them. As soon as Venom, Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy picks up that pipe, I'm like, oh my god, don't do it! Please don't do it. I don't
Mm.
want to see that BS again. Um, yeah, interesting that also he's like, we need sound, and he like knocks Shriek into the bell, and that was enough to make her scream and like blow the roof off that place. Um, yeah, a lot of interesting moments. Trying to think what else. We I guess we're just gonna talk
That
about the
another thing
episode.
about that fight that's pretty intelligent was they used the bell smart. They
Hmm,
had it ring so the symbiotes would go away, and you get that little
right.
dialogue between Eddie and Cletus, and just kind of set that up there. A little man
Mano
to
y
man fighting,
mano.
mano a mano, and then they fight, and then the bell. So I think that was very nicely done. So
No, definitely, I agree. I like that a lot. One thing I didn't like, Shriek actually comes to the aid of Cletus, leaves Mulligan on the rafters outside, and then we cut to like 30 seconds later. Shriek is now murdering Mulligan outside. I'm just like, you mean Mulligan was just like sitting up there waiting for her to come back and like whoop his ass? So
mm-hmm.
like that was just like I didn't like that at all. I don't think he's just gonna wait for her to show up and like start stabbing him with look to be a spatula for concrete. I don't know.
I don't know.
Totally fine. I'm just
Whatever
saying,
you get
like,
your hands on.
why
Yeah.
are you
So
sitting up there, Mulligan? Get out of there. Go do something. Dan did more than Mulligan did. Jesus, Dan's over there with the gasoline and the flame, and I was like, all right, Dan, look at Dan the man. That's awesome. Mulligan though, just sitting up outside on the rafters, waiting for somebody to come over here and kill him and transfer their powers over to him. I guess I don't know. We'll figure that out. Never. I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. Um, End credit scene. Okay, I don't even know how to explain this really. Venom says the symbiotes can they have additional abilities or something, right?
he has memories from so many years of being alive that he's existed a lot longer than he that we know, and he just wants to, I guess, almost like a Vulcan mind melt, and show him what he knows. That's what it seemed like, but they kind of leave it a mystery. Either he doesn't. This is the first time he's ever done it, or he doesn't know what he's doing because somehow they change universes, and so
Yes.
yeah, or who knows? But somehow he gets pulled in, or something that Spider-Man and Doctor Strange do in No Way Home is what's going to pull him into the multiverse and time travel back to when he sees that. That's the only thing I can explain. You know, either this is Doctor Strange's fault or Venom just really messed up on the Vulcan mind melt. That's the only thing I think here. So,
Could be, but I don't think there's any evidence right now to think that it's anyone else at play right now.
mhm.
I think it's all Venom doing something. And it unless it was just at the exact perfect time that he was saying, like, let me show you. Let me show you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he jumps from his alternate universe to our MCU. And fascinating. And what do you know? He's jumping in at the time that Peter Parker is basically wanted. It's the end of
Far from home.
Far From Home. Yeah. And J. Jonah Jameson is talking on the television. And so, yeah, freaking wild. Now, listen, you you gentlemen, or actually, Joe, you weren't there, but JC, you were actually with the Geekcast screening
Right.
of this, and then Joe, you were sort of in a probably with
I was with the
uh
family.
family, and then probably with like a lot of other people because you went over the weekend, right? So, JC, what was the reaction of the Geekcast screening? How did everybody react to that moment?
A few had already seen it or at least heard about it. And so it
What?
wasn't as loud as you would know, but I made sure to stay away. I heard that it's leaked. I was like, I'm not touching it. I'm not reading it, nothing. So I was very surprised. I was like, no fucking way. And there was a few surprised. You used to hear the gas, like, what? You know, it was pretty cool to get that reaction. It was pretty nice. So yeah, obviously we only had like 20 people max in that theater, so it couldn't be as loud as other places, but
Yeah,
still a good amount of surprise.
Joe, what was the pop like in your theater?
It was fun. Everybody was really excited. As far as the big unveil. And that experience right there kind of reminded me of why it's so much fun to watch a film of this nature with a lot of people in the audience. The
Yeah,
oohs, the ahs, the reaction. It was great. You had people standing up in disbelief and like, what? Oh my God! Seeing the reaction of my own kids. They're all teens and they're all excited. Everybody's. I mean, they were the all-time excitement level was just through the roof. Everybody was
Mhm.
so excited to see what was unfolding there, and the whole scene itself was, you know, something that was again. Venom is one of these movies that's not to be taken too serious, and I think the post-credit scene, the way it starts with the novella, and Venom's all into the novella too. I love,
That was hilarious. They're discussing, yeah,
it's
but
pretty
she
funny.
shouldn't have done this.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, I love this show. That's him. Oh my god, they're hooked on novellas in this creepy hotel room that they're in. And as you said, he's like, oh, let me show you just a little glimpse of hive knowledge. Uh,
Mhm.
and he's kind of hinting that they've been through a lot. as a symbiote, you've seen a lot of things, and we have, what did he say? Something like 80 million years of hive knowledge, across vast expanses of space. And I guess he was going to try to get into in other universes, in other, the multiverse and all that kind of stuff. So he's going to show Eddie a little glimpse. And as he starts, like you said, poof, the room just changes. And he's like, well, I didn't do this. I think he was trying to show him something on TV, actually. This is a little glimpse of what we've seen. And it's like, what happened? He's just in a room. And that's when you see the TV come on, and it's, Jonah Jameson, on the screen, revealing the identity of Peter Parker. And to me, the funny thing was when Venom goes and licks the screen,
The screen.
yeah, and I was like, okay. And then everybody's like, screaming real loud, oh my God, it's happening. So that's something that, Spider-Man fans can get really excited for, as we know that the next film is coming, No Way Home. Does Venom make an appearance in this film to kind of maybe help Spider-Man? Now that would be more epic than seeing
Help or
the
hurt?
Amazing Spider-Man make an
You
appearance.
know, I don't know because they've teased that other Spider-Man actors are going to show up. We got in the trailer for No Way Home. We saw Doc Ock, and who knows how many other villains may show up as well. So
The Vulture, I
uh,
would think, would make an appearance as well.
a reappearance, yeah, we could see that come back. There's a potential a lot for this, and so
Yeah.
who maybe knows? Who maybe it's going to be the three Spider-Men versus the Sinister Six. Maybe they help with some help from Doctor Strange. I don't know, but this it opens up a lot of doors. Now you understand why Sony really wanted to get this movie out before No Way Home.
No
So,
Way Home. But here's the
uh,
thing too, that
yeah,
this whole scene, this whole post-credit scene now make Venom canon in the MCU.
yes,
Sure,
You know?
that was the whole point. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
so yeah.
Now you can just say anything's canon in the MCU. Inhumans is canon in the MCU because it happened in some universe. We just
After the
don't know
last
which
episode
one.
of What If, yeah, probably. I guess you could say that. So, yeah.
Pretty much, man. Yeah, absolutely, right. And we're gonna talk about What If, as well as Titans next week. We'll follow up. We'll catch back up on those two shows. Me and Jericho had a lot to say last week. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but we
Haven't
talked a
yet.
lot about those. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, JC, were you did you happen to sit close to Rob in the theater? What was his reaction
Pretty
like?
close. He made a good point, and I've never looked at it this way. And I think I'm looking at the movies different now as far as the Venom films, and people like Joe, for example, have hated on it so long. But he made a good point. It's like you really have to look at these films as they're being told from Venom's perspective,
Mm,
and that's never really been explored. We've looked at Spider-Man, we've looked at it. How weird and convoluted is this world in this movie if you look at it from Venom's perspective, from a symbiote's perspective. And maybe that's why these movies are just so out there and so crazy and so fun. It's a wild ride,
yeah.
Some of the story elements don't flow as nice as you might like it. But then again, this is a symbiote. Nothing is ever uh, in order for him. It's always a crazy thing. So, but he seemed to enjoy it. He was there with his son. He seemed to enjoy it more. I didn't get to talk to him afterward. He had to get his son back home, but still, I think he enjoyed it more. And he said he was indifferent about the first one. Not bad, not good, but from what I could tell, I think he enjoyed the jokes and everything like that from this. It was good to see Rob too, by the way. So
What? The infamous
Original
Rob showed
OG
up?
Geekcaster Rob.
Wow.
actually saw him twice this past weekend. To be honest with you, so yeah,
What?
yeah.
Wow.
So
Well, I have a little surprise for you, gentlemen, and I actually wish it was a bigger surprise. I invited Rob to be on the show today, and unfortunately, he could not make it. But just the fact that he considered is more than I can ask from Rob. But he did actually give me notes on his thoughts, which is more than he's done in a lot of episodes. So, without further ado, the actual review from Geekcaster OG Geekcaster Rob for Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Movie was fun.
Hmm.
I'm just kidding. Carnage could have
That doesn't
been
sound like him.
Carnage could have been more violent. Hardy was awesome. Venom was too awkward. He says, "Need need more aggression." He says, "I love the reveal at the end of Eddie Venom traveling to Tom Holland's Spider Verse. I was curious how that transition would work, but perfect way to do that." What? Uh, but we'll need some explanation around Venom's immediate infatuation for Spider-Man. Sure.
Hmm.
He says rating 3.5, and best part of the movie was watching it with his son. Here,
Hmm.
here. Well said, Rob. Sorry we missed you on the show, but glad that you sent in your comments, and we'll have to get him on to talk about it some other time. He will be on this show for the next Spider-Man movie. Like, I'm going to make a blood oath on that. I just need a knife or something to do that. But I promise you, Rob will be talking Spider-Man when that movie comes out. And
Do I bite my thumb and do a summoning ninjutsu like they do in Naruto and summon Rob?
please
You know
light a candle at church. Do one of those things.
what happens if you say
Pray.
Rob 3 times and look in the mirror? Does he just magically appear? You
Yeah.
know?
Do a Native American rain
If
dance,
it
something like
was
that. Yeah.
that easy, I would have done it for all the shows that he missed. But it's
Mhm.
fine. It's cool. Yeah, so that's actually a good way to segue into the next part of the show, our Geekcaster rating. If you're watching this video or you're listening to the podcast version, we want to hear from you. So in the comments below, or you could send us a message if you're listening to the audio version of this show. Let us know what your rating is for Venom: Let There Be Carnage. The rating is 1 to 5, 1 being Spider-Man 3, 5 being the original
Into this,
Spider-Man
I was to
or
say
Into
into
the
the Spider Verse.
Spider-Verse,
Yeah.
probably. There you go. That's a better one. And yeah, and so we're gonna talk about ours now. We already have Rob's 3.5. JC, what do you give Venom? Let There Be Carnage.
4.5. It was fun.
Whoa,
Yeah. I
Man,
really, I that was a fun movie. You know, it's great. It's not
cool.
nothing like to. It's not like a masterpiece or anything, but it did the job. It gave us an epic fight. I thought Carnage looked great, and it got us to where we needed it to be going into No Way Home. So 4 out of 5 for me.
wait, did you say 4 or 4.5?
Four,
4. Okay, I
4.
think you said 4.5. Joe, did you
Did I
hear that?
really?
Yeah,
4.5 is
It's late. I'm tired. I meant to say 4. 4 out of 5.
it's
My
all
bad.
good. I was just like, wow,
I
JC. All
just did the
right.
WrestleCast. We had a lot to talk about, so give me a break. I'm so sorry.
No, totally fine.
Four out
Totally
of
fine.
five. 80%. 4 out of 5.
you
Yeah.
hear that? That's what I'm
What?
playing for JC.
What? Cocaine's a hell of a drug? No. That's funny. No. Four out
You're
of
up.
five. No.
You're up, Joe. What do you got, man?
No, man, I'm right on par with Rob, dude. I mean, it's while it's enjoyable, better than the
Hmm.
first. There's still a lot of issues that I have with the actual story itself. To me, 3.5 is being generous. I'm going to give it a solid 3. I have to, based on what I've seen out there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, had its moments, but it's still flawed. And I got to be honest, and be unbiased, and I'm going to have to give it a 3, a solid 3.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We're here for your honest review. And last but not least, I am actually going to match Rob. It's not a 4 in my book. It's too short to give it a 4. I need more substance from any comic book movie. This is not just a Venom thing here. Like, I probably gave Ant-Man 2 below a 4 as well because it
Best
also
movie
felt
in
like a one.
ever.
It felt like a one-trick pony.
And
Is
yet
it the
Rob gave that a 5. That's
Rob
his
gave that
favorite.
one a 5. Yeah,
the
Yeah.
original
but
But
I'm
Ant-Man?
actually
no, the second one.
the second
Oh,
one.
Lord.
He said the second one was the best MCU movie. I'm
Yeah.
actually
Wow.
going to give this one also a 3.5. And it's being mostly carried by the performances of Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, and Michelle Williams, who again, Michelle Williams is probably like the best actor in this panel,
That's why JC gave it
and
a 4.5.
she's not asked to do a ton, and
She don't have to. She just can just be there and smile, Ted. Let's be honest.
she's
And
just
be
really
Venom.
good. She's just really
Yeah.
good. She's really solid in everything she's doing on screen. So yeah,
Yep.
3.5 for me. That brings our overall Geekcast rating to a
Three
3.5.
3.5. Straight
There
even.
you
Yep.
go.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and again, we want to hear from you. Let us know what you thought about Venom: Let There Be Carnage. You can send us a message on Facebook just by clicking that send message button, or you can email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. All right. Really quickly, we're just going to do some rapid fire headlines. We don't have a ton of time, so just want to make sure and let you folks know at home all about some of the things that are going on in the geek universe. Keanu Reeves is doing a new comic book movie. It's going to be a Berserker movie, which is a graphic novel that's extremely violent. It will be rated R, streaming on Netflix. No release date has been set yet, but they've already hired the Batman writer Mattson Tomlin to the project. So, Berserker. If you love that comic series, Keanu Reeves is now going to be leading that project. If you want to see the newest teaser trailer for House of the Dragon, head on over to our Facebook page or our Instagram page to check out the teaser trailer for House of the Dragon, the first Game of Thrones spinoff on HBO and HBO Max. And lastly, some big news that I found out is that a new Ghostbusters game is currently in development by Ilphonics Studios. It was released, the information was released on a podcast, the Questlove Supreme podcast, where they were interviewing Raphael Sadiq, and he mentioned we released Friday the 13th. We worked on Predator, and right now we're working on Ghostbusters. And he's also working on another game called Arcade Get On. I hope I said that right. But
Okay.
another Ghostbusters game is on the way. We know the movie's coming out next month. I can't wait. These guys can't wait. Should be pretty incredible. And then why not one more? The Book of Boba Fett, the next Star Wars series, live action, streaming on the Disney Plus streaming service, will be out December 29th. So just before the new year. And we can't wait because we love talking Mandalorian and we're going to love talking all about Boba Fett. It's going to be
Hmm.
pretty incredible, in my opinion. Um, and Robert Rodriguez is returning to direct either a few episodes or maybe the whole shebang. I can't remember how many he's going to be doing, but he's coming back. So get ready. It's going to be pretty
It's always
amazing.
good when he's involved. I'll say that. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight on this Venom Let There Be Carnage review for the Geekcast. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is Man, Myth, and Legend. You know him as JC.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. And I'm so happy that Sora is finally in Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's been a long time coming. He was the last DLC revealed today. Look forward to playing him in a couple weeks. So,
There you go.
mhm.
We also get the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for listening and watching. And, hopefully you enjoyed our review of Venom 2. If you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and maybe go ahead and tell your friends about the Countdown City Geekcast. We greatly appreciate everybody's support.
Absolutely. The greatest month of the year is here. It's finally October. Let's
Happy
have a
birthday,
blast, folks.
Ted. Belated happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I think he just
Yeah.
hit, what, 49, right?
I'm still 27.
All right.
Still 27, 10 years later. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Have a good night, folks.